The rain was coming down hard when my tires lost traction. One second I was merging off Route 19, the next I was spinning, the world tilting sideways, and then impact, a crunch, a flash, and silence. The car jolted, metal screaming against concrete as I slammed into the guardrail. The airbag exploded in my face. My ribs burned, my head rang. I sat there, dazed, the wipers squeaking pointlessly across shattered glass. My phone buzzed on the passenger seat, and through the blur of pain and smoke, I reached for it. I called Laura. Once, twice, 3 times. No answer. Finally, I texted her. Galaxy, I'm fine, I think. Can you come pick me up? The car's totaled. The typing dots appeared for a second. Then her reply came. Oh my God, are you okay? I'm having lunch with Jacob. Just call an Uber, okay? I stared at the message. My fingers hovered over the screen. Lunch with Jacob? She knew Jacob, her friend from work. A guy who always just happened to be around when she stayed late. I tried to swallow the rising bitterness. I texted back. I can't get an Uber out here, I'm on the highway. No reply. A few minutes later, flashing lights appeared behind me. Officer Miller, a man I'd seen a few times at community events, stepped out of his cruiser and jogged over, shielding his head from the rain. Daniel? Holy hell, man, you okay? I think so, I said, wincing. Just bruised. He checked me over, made a few jokes to calm me down, then walked around the car. You're lucky. Another few inches, and that guardrail would have gone through your door. I nodded, silent. Miller picked up my phone from the dashboard. You want me to call someone for you? My girlfriend, I said quietly. She's busy. He glanced at the unread screen. Her message was still open. His eyebrows lifted slightly. Having lunch, huh? Yeah, I muttered. Apparently. He didn't comment, but the look he gave me said enough. At the station, Miller helped me file the accident report, then said, You sure you don't want me to give her a call? Sometimes hearing it from an officer wakes people up. I hesitated. Actually, yeah, do it. Maybe then she'll take it seriously. He nodded, professional but firm. Got it. He asked for her name and number, scribbled it down, and left. I sat there, nursing a bruise on my shoulder, staring out the rain-streaked window. 45 minutes later, the door opened. Laura walked in. Perfect hair, perfect makeup, not a trace of panic. Oh my God, Daniel, she said breathlessly. Miller told me you were in an accident. Why didn't you just call you? I interrupted, voice flat. I did. She blinked. I was with Jacob. It would have been awkward to just leave in the middle of lunch. I finished for her. Right? Her lips tightened. Don't start. I'm not starting. You already did. Miller coughed politely from behind his desk. I'll, give you 2 a minute. He stepped outside. Laura came closer. Daniel, I'm sorry, okay? I didn't know it was serious. I thought. You thought what? I snapped. That I wanted a ride because I was bored. Her eyes glistened. Don't talk to me like that. I'm here now. After your Caesar salad? She flinched. That's not fair. No, I said, standing up, my voice shaking. What's not fair is that I got hit at 60 miles an hour, and you couldn't even skip dessert. Her silence said everything. When we got home, she was suddenly affectionate, fussing over my bruises, making tea, acting like the perfect partner. But every touch felt hollow. I saw the reflection of the restaurant lights in her eyes, the same one she shared with Jacob. That night, while she slept beside me, I stared at the ceiling. The words replayed again and again in my head. I'm having lunch with Jacob. Just call an Uber. By morning, I made up my mind. I packed a small bag, took my laptop, and texted my brother Ethan. Mind if I crash at your place for a few days? He replied instantly. What happened this time? I didn't answer. I just left. 2 days later, Miller called. You got a second? Yeah. I thought you want to know what happened when I told her at the restaurant. I hesitated. What do you mean? He chuckled dryly. Daniel, you should have seen it. Bistro Meridian, right? Fancy place. She was sitting across from Jacob. The guy looked like he stepped out of a perfume ad. When I told her you'd been in an accident, the whole room went dead quiet. My jaw tightened. What did she say? She froze. Tried to smile. Then she said, Oh my God, is he okay? But you could see it. The people around her. They looked at her like she'd just been caught cheating on an exam. I sighed. Sound about right. And Jacob? He turned white, asked if you were alive. Didn't look guilty, looked scared. That made me pause. Miller continued. Anyway, figured you should know. People notice things. You don't owe her anything, man. I know, I said quietly. Thanks, Miller. After I hung up, I just sat there, staring at my phone. My heart didn't hurt anymore. It just felt empty. That was when I knew it was over. Laura came home that evening to find me sitting on the couch with a half-packed duffel bag. She froze in the doorway, holding her purse like a shield. Daniel, she said carefully, what's going on? I'm leaving for a while. I replied without looking at her. Ethan's got a spare room. Her expression hardened. Because of the accident? Or because you're angry I didn't drop everything the second you called? I looked up at her. Because I realize what my place is in your priorities. That's ridiculous. Really? I asked. You couldn't even come to the hospital. Miller had to track you down a restaurant. She folded her arms. Jacob's my friend. He's been going through a rough time. I was just being there for him. I laughed once bitterly. Being there for him. That's a nice way to say ditching your boyfriend after a car crash. Stop twisting everything I do, she snapped. I was scared. I didn't know how bad it was. I panicked. You panicked by ordering another drink? I shot back. You're unbelievable, Laura. Her eyes filled with tears. You're making this sound worse than it is. No, I said quietly. I'm just saying it out loud. I picked up my duffel bag and headed for the door. Where are you going? She asked, voice cracking. Somewhere I don't feel like an afterthought. She stood there speechless as I walked out. At Ethan's place, the air smelled of coffee and wood polish. Calm, familiar, real. He watched me drop my bag and sit heavily on the couch. So, he said, she finally showed you who she is. I didn't answer. He sighed. You always made excuses for her. I stopped trying to talk sense into you a long time ago. I thought she loved me. I muttered. Love. Ethan scoffed. Love's not skipping out on your boyfriend when he's bleeding on the side of the road. He wasn't wrong. That night, I barely slept. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw the reflection of Laura's phone screen lighting up with Jacob's name. 2 days later, she showed up at Ethan's door. Her eyes were puffy, makeup smeared. Daniel, please, she said, we need to talk. Ethan looked at me, ready to send her away, but I nodded. It's fine. She followed me outside into the cold November air. I made a mistake, she began. I know that. I should have come right away. Yeah, you should have. I just didn't realize how serious it was. I cut her off. Laura, stop pretending this was about confusion or timing. It wasn't. It was about choice. You chose Jacob over me. That's all I need to know. Her face twisted. You think I'm cheating on you? I don't think, I said coldly. I know you're emotionally gone. The rest doesn't matter. She stepped closer, grabbing my arm. Please, Daniel, don't do this. We can fix it. I looked down at her hand. You can't fix something that was never real. I walked back inside, shutting the door behind me. Through the small window, I saw her standing in the snow, still clutching her purse like it could save her. A week later, Officer Miller called again. Got a funny story for you, he said. Laura's been talking. My stomach dropped. Talking how? She's telling people I embarrassed her in the restaurant. That I exaggerated the whole thing to make her look bad. I sighed. Sounds like her. Don't worry, Miller said. Nobody believes it. The manager at that place sent me a thank you note for shutting her down. I couldn't help laughing. You serious? Oh yeah, he said. Apparently she's been going there for months with Jacob. The staff thought they were a couple. That hit like a brick to the chest. So everyone knew before I did. I said quietly. Daniel, Miller said, his voice gentler now. Some people wear masks for so long they forget they're pretending. You did the right thing walking away. Yeah, I whispered. I know. A few nights later, I went back to the apartment to collect the rest of my stuff. The air inside smelled different, lavender candles and something faintly artificial, like the cover's scent of guilt. Laura was sitting on the couch, wearing one of my hoodies, eyes red from crying. I thought you might come by, she said. I made coffee. I'm not staying, I replied. She nodded slowly. Can we at least talk while you pack? I shrugged. If you want. For a few minutes, there was only the sound of drawers opening, zippers closing, quiet footsteps. Then she spoke. You really think I didn't care about you? I didn't answer. She stood, crossing her arms. You're punishing me for one mistake. I've been with you for 3 years, Daniel. Don't those years mean anything? They do, I said softly. They mean I ignored a lot of red flags. Her face twisted with anger. You think you're so perfect? No, I think I was loyal. She took a step closer. You're just leaving me because your ego's bruised. I looked at her then, really looked. The woman standing in front of me wasn't the one I fell for. She was sharp, defensive, desperate to win instead of understand. My ego, I said quietly. No, Laura, it's not my ego that's broken. It's the illusion that you'd ever be there when it mattered. Her lips trembled. Daniel, please. I can change. You had your chance. I zipped the last bag and headed for the door. Where am I supposed to go? She cried. Anywhere but here, I said, not turning back. The next morning, she posted on social media a long, emotional essay about toxic men who can't handle a strong woman. Ethan showed it to me over breakfast. She's fishing for sympathy. I shook my head. Let her. People believe what they want. But that wasn't the end of it. A few days later, I got a call from Mrs. Lawrence, our elderly neighbor from the apartment building. Daniel, dear, she said hesitantly, I don't want to get involved, but Laura's been telling people you left her for someone else. She's been very dramatic about it. Thanks for letting me know, I said. I'll handle it. I hung up, feeling a familiar exhaustion creeping in. Some people apologize with words, others with silence. Laura did neither. She attacked the truth itself. 2 weeks passed. Then one night, around 9, there was a knock on my door. When I opened it, Laura stood there, pale, trembling, clutching a small paper bag. Daniel, she whispered, please listen. I need to tell you something. I said nothing. She took a shaky breath. I'm pregnant. The words hit like ice water. I stared at her. You're lying. I'm not. I swear. Her voice cracked. I found out a few days ago. I didn't move. Then show me the test. She reached into the bag, pulling out a white plastic stick. But something about her eyes told me the truth before I even looked. Did you buy that today? I asked quietly. Silence. I thought maybe, she began, then trailed off. Maybe what? I said, voice low. That saying you're pregnant would make me forgive you? Tears streamed down her face. I just wanted a chance to fix everything. I stepped back, shaking my head. Laura, you can't fix betrayal with another lie. I closed the door. Slowly, deliberately. Through the peephole, I watched her stand there for a long time, shoulders shaking, before finally walking away. The next morning, my phone buzzed with a message from my friend Jake, who'd known Laura through mutual circles. Bro, she's telling people you got her pregnant and ditched her. But I ran into Jacob last night. He says she told him the same thing. Dude's freaking out. I exhaled slowly. Of course she did. Jake added, you should shut this down before it gets messy. He was right. I called Miller again. Got a minute for some unofficial advice. He chuckled. Always. What's up? I told him everything. He whistled. Classic manipulation. Document everything. If she shows up again, call it in. Yeah, I said. I'm done letting her control the story. That evening, I sent one message to the group chat we shared with mutual friends. Just to clear the air, Laura and I broke up weeks ago. There's no pregnancy, no cheating. I wish her the best, but I'm moving on. Please respect that. Then I blocked her number. For the first time in months, the silence on my phone felt peaceful. 3 days later, Jacob reached out. He sounded exhausted. Man, I need to talk to you. I'm listening. She told me she was pregnant too, he said flatly. Said it might be mine, might be yours. I freaked out, got her to take a test at a clinic. It was negative. I closed my eyes, relief and disgust mixing like oil and water. She's not well, I said quietly. No, Hakobri Plaid. She's desperate. Guess we both learned the hard way. He sighed. Yeah, I'm sorry. Mom, I didn't mean to cross any lines. You did, I said honestly. But at least you owned it. We ended the call on uneasy but honest terms. When I hung up, I realized something strange. I didn't hate him anymore. The anger had burned itself out, leaving only clarity. That night, I sat on my balcony, watching the city lights blur through the rain. For the first time in a long time, I wasn't waiting for anyone's message. No apologies, no lies, just a quiet hum of freedom. It wasn't peace yet, but it was the first step toward it. Time stopped meaning anything. Days blurred together, one into the next, until pain became something ordinary, something almost comfortable. I went back to work, deleted the old photos, stopped checking social media. But sometimes, late at night, I still caught myself waiting for a message notification, the one that would never come. The silence cut deeper than any words ever could. 3 months passed, and then, one evening, I saw her again. I was walking out of a cafe when I noticed her on the parking lot, standing there between cars and cold wind. Laura. She looked smaller somehow, thinner, quieter. Her eyes were dim, her smile forced. When she saw me, she froze. "Hi," she said softly. I nodded. The silence between us was louder than any fight we'd ever had. "You look good," she said, hesitating. "You don't," I replied. She flinched but stayed. "I just wanted to say you were right. About everything. About me. About what I did." I didn't answer. "I lost my job," she continued quietly. "Jacob quit too. He left town. And she swallowed. "I'm alone now." There was no self-pity in her voice, just exhaustion. The kind that comes when lies stop working and hope runs out. "What do you want from me, Laura?" I finally asked. "Nothing," she said after a pause. "I just wanted you to know." I understood too late. I looked at her, not as the woman who betrayed me, not even as someone I loved once, just as a person who finally ran out of excuses. "No, Laura," I said quietly. "You understood exactly when there was nothing left to save." She closed her eyes and nodded. Then she turned around and walked away. No scene, no tears, no last look, just silence and distance. I never saw her again. Sometimes I thought I heard her laugh in a crowd or caught a glimpse of her reflection in cafe windows. But it was always someone else. And maybe that was for the best. One night, I found myself reading the message that started it all. Having lunch with Jacob. Just call an Uber. 5 words. 5 words that split my life into before and after. I didn't feel anger anymore. Not hate. Not sadness. Just an empty, peaceful quiet. And a thought. Maybe this is how it was meant to be. People still ask me sometimes, "Did you ever forgive her?" I never know how to answer. Forgiveness isn't a word. It's silence. It's waking up one morning and realizing there's nothing left to burn inside you. Ash doesn't hurt. It just exists. Now, I live alone. Work. Train. Meet new people sometimes. But deep down, I know, after Laura, I became someone else. Not better. Not worse. Just real. Colder. Sharper. True. And when people ask why I don't believe in forever love anymore, I just smile and say, because one day, I learned that love can be late.